Hey guys, welcome to the Mighty Marvels, or Marvelous Academy, I should say, and thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you've been following us, and if you have, you've been learning how to draw these different characters. Today we're going to be drawing AIDAN, so hopefully you're connected and hopefully you're able to follow along. As you know, we grab a pencil and paper, drawing AIDAN the Apostle. That's what his name is, and when it comes to the different Mighty Marvels, they all have their abilities. And I want to let you know, for AIDAN, his abilities are pretty interesting. I'm going to transition to the iPad. I use an iPad, but you can use a paper and pencil. But for AIDAN, we call him AIDAN the Apostle because he does things that encourages others, builds up others. You know, he encourages people and just gives positive words to people. He shares positivity with people. And his ability is that as he opens the Bible, it folds out and it becomes his armor. So he is a genius and he has the wisdom of God. And his scripture base is out of Romans 13:12. It says, "The night is nearly over. The day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light." And then in Romans 13, verse 14, it says, "Rather clothe yourselves with the Lord Jesus Christ and do not think about how to gratify the desires of the flesh." And then also James chapter 1, verse 5, "If you need wisdom, ask our generous God and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking." So that's kind of his take. And you're going to see that when we're going to draw his backpack. He has a backpack. And on his backpack, or in his backpack, he carries his Bible. So he always has it with him. And that's who we're going to draw. So get your pencil and pad ready. We're going to have some fun. Bye, Rain. We'll see you later. Bye, Jaden. We'll see you later, buddy. That's just my grandkids. They're leaving. And some are happy, some are sad. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of tips. First of all, when you're sketching, you're not going to use your wrist like this. Bye. You're going to sketch like this. So you're going to use your whole entire arm. That way, when you're sketching, you have a better feel of things. But when it comes to AIDAN, usually we start with like a shape, a circle or something. But with AIDAN, what we're going to do is we're going to start with lines, where we're going to draw things. So if this is your paper and you're drawing sideways, or if you're drawing this way, if your paper is this way, just know where your lines are going to be, okay? Know where your lines are. So we're going to start with splitting the paper in half. So if you split your paper in half and you draw a line, remember now, real lightly, draw real lightly, sketch real lightly. You can always make it darker, but you can never make it lighter. Once you make it dark, the only way to make it lighter is if you start erasing. And when you're sketching, you don't want to erase as much as possible. Sketching is just to have references of where you are. So you want to draw a line here in the middle, and then you're going to draw a line on the top. This is going to be the top of his head, okay? So leave some room on your paper so that you have space just in case. And then the same length, don't draw this line, okay? I'm just showing you. The same length from this line to that line is going to be on the bottom. So you have to kind of guess and estimate the same spacing. So if it's from here to here, you can even measure it if you wanted to. If you have a ruler, you can measure it. And if I'm going to measure it, let's just see if it's correct. It's kind of close. So if you want to measure it, you can, just so that you can be a little bit more accurate. So you have these three lines. Good so far? Okay. And then you're going to split this line, this middle one, this bottom one. You're going to split that in half. So try to estimate where that middle mark is. Again, real light sketches, okay? Hopefully you can see mine. I'm drawing it a little bit darker so that you can see it. So you're going to split that in half. And then from there, you're going to draw a line right under that one. So if your line is here, you're going to draw one just underneath it, really close to that line. You want it as close as possible, but a little bit of space. Okay, pretty close. And then you're going to split this one, or put this one. It's not halfway, so if you look at your mark, if your mark is or your line is here, it's not midway between this line and that line. Okay, it's not in the middle. So if this was the middle, then you want your line right there. I'm sorry I'm drawing a lot of lines, but I just want you to have a reference to where it's going to be. So if you can draw just one line so that you can see it, then draw one line. So that's kind of your area on where everything is going to be. And in fact, from this line, from here to here, should almost be the same as here to here. So these are just references, okay? It doesn't have to be exactly, but it's good for your reference points, because I know I can see already I might need to adjust here and there. So once you get that down, then draw a straight line right down the middle, wherever you want it to be, so long as you have room around. And once you draw that line, at least you have an idea of where everything else will be. Okay? Hopefully you're able to follow. Now comes the easiest, most difficult part, if that makes sense, because you're going to have to draw a circle. So this line, so you have this first line, second line, third line. Don't draw these. This is just for reference. Fifth line and sixth line. So this line right here, you're going to draw a circle, and it can be right in the middle. So you see this half, it's going to be right in the middle of the circle. So draw this circle where it's touching line number 3. So not 2, but 3. So this is going to be his head. And again, don't use your wrist, use your whole hand. So get an idea of where the circle is going to be. And that's the basic structure of what he's going to look like, of reference point of where everything is going to be. And then you're going to draw a curved line. So if you see this part right here, then you're going to curve it like that. So that's going to be the front of his face. He's facing this way. And once you get that down, then you have an idea of where everything is going to be. Okay? Then you're going to curve another line this way. Just like that. So where this circle crosses this line, you want to start from there. So it should look like that. That's your basic look for AIDAN. In fact, you can curve this down a little bit more. So basic sketching. And then you're going to draw a circle right here. This is going to be his ear. His ear isn't too big. And you want to be right on the bottom of this. And you don't want to touch this line. So just draw it like that. It's not really a circle. It's more like an oval. Just so that you can see. It's more like it has an oval shape. Don't draw it dark. Keep it light. I'm just drawing it dark so you can see it. But keep it very, very light. And once you finish that, now you're going to draw one side. This is going to be his eyeglasses. Now this one, it takes a little bit of practice because it's not a circle and it's not too much of it's not an oval where it's oval like this. It's a little broader than an oval, but it's not a complete circle. So you want to make it not too big. In fact, before you do that, you can draw another spacing or a line here to give an idea of where you want the top of his glasses to be. And you want to keep a little bit of this top part. So when you drop your line, I should have done that first. I apologize. If you drop this line, in fact, let me just take away, if you went too fast or went with me, then you already have this circle. But so long you have this guideline of where the eye is going to be. And then when you think about where this top is, and then this is going to be, that's where the other side of his eyeglasses are going to be. But this part is going to be pretty interesting because from here to here, you're going to draw his other eyeglasses. So because of the perspective going this way, it's going to be smaller. Now the other glasses, if this is his head right here, The other glasses are going to be kind of the same oval, but it's overlapping. If this is the side of his face, the other glasses are going to pop out just a little bit, and you want to be at the bottom of this line. So his eyeglasses, and you can make it to where in this space there's about that much of a spacing, because you're going to make his glasses a little thicker anyway. So you don't want too much space, but you don't want it to be super far apart where it's, you know, like that. So you want enough spacing in the middle. Again, these are just reference points as circles. Okay? And then if you were to imagine a line coming from this middle to this side, just real lightly, and then you're going to have where the side arms from his glasses are going to go right behind his ear. So you have to tuck that under. It's going to be just like that. And once you get that reference point, you're going to draw his eyes. Now, if this is his glasses, in fact, we'll skip the eyes for now because we need to draw the glasses first. We'll skip that. Once you have all of that in place, then you can come to the hair. So the hair is going to be in a couple of parts. So first part is right under this arm. Now this arm connects to the glasses, okay? So it looks like I drew an angle here. It shouldn't be angled. It should just go straight to, if the glasses are here, it's going to go straight to the glasses. I just was showing this to where it lines up. So I don't want it to be confusing. Okay. So his hair is going to come right under the arms of the glasses and not too far over. And then you're going to come up in an angle. And once you hit this line, that imaginary line that we drew for the top of his eyeglasses, then you're going to come up and you're going to come over. Up and over to where the other side of his head would be. So up and over. So it comes kind of high, up and over. Okay? Because his head is circular, so you want to make sure it's like that. And then he has like bangs coming down. So if you were to draw a straight line from where you're going to start the bangs, it's not in line with the glasses. It's a little bit past the glasses. So it comes like this. It swoops down. You're going to angle it up. And if this is your line, you're going to angle it up past that line just a little bit. And then you're going to swoop this way and come around. Now this third one, you're going to have 3 swoops. You hit this area. As it's curving, you're going to drop it right behind his ear here. So this almost feels like a straight line just right here. And then it begins to curve and come around. And then you're going to finish off his hair. So right here, if there's a bump right here, you're not going to match it to here. You're going to come down from there, if you can see that. So it doesn't line up to the top of his hair. It actually cuts into there. And his hair is his head is very well put together. He's very neat. AIDAN is very neat, very streamlined. So he keeps everything in order. Okay, looking good so far. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're able to keep up. I know sometimes I go a little fast, but you can always pause. Okay. Looking good. Okay, now we're going to sketch in the body. So on the bottom part, where you have this line in the middle, all you're going to do is draw almost like a rectangle and not too wide. So if you're going to draw an imaginary line from here, you want to have a little space from the inside of his glasses to right here. And if there was a line coming down, then that's where you're going to draw this is going to be his shirt. And it's going to go on line number 5, that 5th line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this 5th one. You can even go a little bit lower if you wanted to. Again, it's just a reference point. This is going to be his shirt area. And then, of course, his neckline. It's going to be right in the middle where this line is. That's going to be his neckline. And then you're going to draw outwards, not right here where it's meeting, but out from where this kind of angles up, like a square angle. And you're going to draw kind of like a rectangle, just a small one, not too large. And he's very thin, so you don't want it to be too big. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. This one is angled. This one is pretty much straight down. So you can draw it like that. In fact, it's going to curve in, so you don't worry about how it looks right now. And you want it almost the same. I'm going to draw a dark line. Don't draw this line. I'm showing you where it should equal up to. So where this one is, that's how the other one should be. So if you can imagine a line going across, it's kind of the same. And this one is going to be a little bit lower because it's angled. And then once you finish that, you're going to draw another, like a square, or a rectangle actually. And it's not going to touch this line. Don't have it come too low. Don't let it touch number 4. It should be just above it, just like that, just a little bit. Then you're going to draw another one up like this, angled up, and like that. So it's very thin. And this square should be thicker than this one, because this is the bicep of your arm. It's always thicker than your forearm and wrist area. Then you're going to draw kind of an oval of a circle, just like that. And it's right below his chin. This is going to be his chin. And then you're going to draw a line just like this, just a straight line. Don't let it touch this eyeglasses. Just a straight line like that, just as a reference point, because he's going to be holding a pencil. Okay, now we're going to go to the other arm. Draw a circle under here, or an oval. And again, you don't want it to touch this line. Just draw it above it, real lightly. And then you're going to draw a small square here, like this. And then one across, folding his arms. So that's the basic shape. Hopefully you can see it. I'll draw this a little darker, which you really don't want it to go dark. I'm just drawing it dark so you can see it. So if I blow it up, that's what it should look like. And then we're going to come down here. And where his shirt is, right here, don't follow it exactly, because it's just a little on the inside. So you're going to taper it down. If this is the bottom, right, you're going to draw a little bit above that. So it's going to look like that, because this is going to be the underneath part of his feet. Simple. Draw 2 circles like this on the outsides of his, this is his pants. So 2 circles on the outsides of this part of his pants. So 2 circles, just like that. And then we're going to be able to fill in parts of his shoes. I'll let you catch up a little bit. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you. And once you have that in, then you have the basic part of his feet. And then we're going to switch to his backpack. So his backpack, you're going to draw same thing, and you can use line 3 if you want to, just for a reference point. And it's a little bit outside, so we're going to draw a square, or almost a square, because it's going behind his back. And then we're going to curve it out after, but this is just to give an idea of where you're going to put the lines, the final lines. So that would be his backpack. I'm going to draw it darker so you can see it, but don't draw it this dark. It should look like that. And this is his shoulder. And his sleeve. Okay. Hope we're doing good. So that's the basic structure of that area. And then let's start with the hand. So this hand, we're going to, where this circle is, I'm going to blow it up so you can see it. We're going to come out in an angle, come up. So follow that circle shape a little bit. Then this is going to be the top of his finger. Don't let it touch this line right here, which is the bottom of his face. So we're going to come up right there. And then this is going to curve around because that's the top of his finger. And you're going to draw 4 fingers all together. So there's going to be another one here, another one here. And if you can imagine a line like this, so you're going to have 1, 2, and then you're going to have the third one come out. So there's the first finger, second finger is here, and you curve that. Third finger here, curve that. Fourth finger, this is the pinky. So the pinky is the smallest finger. When you come here, you're going to bring it out a little and then bring it in just because you can see the whole pinky. And then you're going to curve this because now it's the palm of his hand, and you're going to curve it like that. And then this is the palm, hit the wrist, and you're going to finish it off. Then you can finish off the back side. Now keep this thin, okay? This part is thin. Don't go too thick. It's better thin than thick for now, for the sketching. And then you can finish off the elbow, connect it. And this will overlap this right here, just a little bit. You can see that right there. That's his hand. And this is going to be his pencil. We can fill that in after. Let's go to the other hand, or the other arm. So coming out of the sleeve, he's going to have an elbow and his forearm. So we're going to draw that. Now this part is, you're following the circle. So you curve down, come straight across and curve a little bit. And you're just going to draw 1, 2 bumps, just like that. And you can finish off this sleeve if you need to, just so that you know where it is. You don't have to make it square how I'm making it square. You can curve it just a little bit to show that it's his shoulder. So it's going to be right like that. And the reason why you're only putting 2 bumps is because his hand is underneath the other arm. So you don't really have to finish it off. And then you're going to come back on this side, bring in his bicep. And this arm is, you're going to see it overlap here. And same thing. If this part is thicker than this part. So this is going to come down like that. Not too much. But once you come here, then you're going to, just where this is, and on this side, you're going to curve it up. So that's going to be his thumb. So you're going to see this curve and this curve. And then that's his arm. And that's what it looks like. And you're eventually going to, you can shade this in or just sketch this real lightly. This is going to be his backpack straps. So it'll look like that. So backpack straps, you can put that on that side. And then this one on this side. That's going to be his backpack straps. So you can put that in. And if you have a backpack, you know. Okay, now we're going to draw his pupils. So his pupils are close to the inside of his eyeglasses. So draw it very small. Because with AIDAN, you can always draw it bigger. So right now, just draw little tiny ovals. And it should match up. It's going to be like barrels, where it's shaped like that. It's not shaped as actual ovals, but the oval is just to give a look. So that's what it's going to look like, his eyes. And then where this crosses down, you're going to see this, where we put that in earlier. You're going to come below the bridge of his eyeglasses, and then you're going to draw a C. And this is his nose. Just like that. And it doesn't have to be, I have it like this. You don't have to draw it all the way as a C. You can even make the bottom part a little smaller, like that. So as it angles like this, you're following this angle, it's just like that. So either way, you can even do it where this part is longer. So long as you have that C look to it, so don't feel that, oh boy, it's not looking good. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. And then right around this line, this area, and right below this part of the eyeglasses, you can draw his mouth. And it's very simple. It's just a swoop. He's not sad. He's thinking. So it's just a look like that. Like he's very curious. Like, I'm thinking. Because he's a genius, he's always thinking. And then for the ear, because the head is going to be here, you can always put the ear, that line there. And this, if you think imaginary, it should connect with this. That's what you're doing. But don't connect it. I'm just showing you where it should point. So it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. And it shouldn't be like this. It should follow the contour of the head. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay? Hopefully we're looking good. Let's drop down to his shoes. I'll blow it up just so you can see it. So right here is the half part. So we can draw his left shoe. It's going to be on your right hand side. So you can curve it a little bit. Then you're going to bring it around. Follow that circle a little bit. I went outside of it because I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. And I want to give space for this part right here. So just going to come around. And drop it. And then you can add the front part of his shoe, or the bottom part of his shoe, just like that. You can have 1, 2, 3, like shoelaces. And then same thing for the other side. I'm going to draw the circle. And I'm going to give a little space just for the top part. And you can fill that in, right like that. Tuck that in. And then we're going to swoop it under. That's the bottom part. And then same thing for the bottom of his shoe. And then 1, 2, 3. It's like his shoelaces. That's the basic structure of AIDAN. Now you can get a dark pen, like a Sharpie. If you use a Sharpie, please put something underneath the paper so it doesn't bleed through and then ruin whatever it is that's underneath it, like a table. Or you can use your pencil and draw harder so that it darkens it. But we're going to do what is called inking, or your lines. You're going to do your ink lines. And I use another layer just so that I can lighten this, because I'm drawing on an iPad that makes it really dark so that you can see it. So now I can go in with my pen. I want the right thickness. A little bit thicker. Too thick. Okay, that should be good. Okay, so where I'm going to start is probably the most difficult part, which is you come here. Hold my breath because it's hard to draw a circle like that. And then I'm going to draw the other one. Okay, it's a little shaky, but that's okay. And so you can do the same thing. For the outside of his head, this line, don't draw this line right now. I'm just going to show you something. This line that is by his head that comes through like this, You're not going to do that because when you have something against glass, there's a little bit of a shift because the glass distorts the view. So because you're looking through his glasses, this is not going to line up. This line, you're going to follow this line, but right on the outside of the line. You don't want it to line up because you need the glasses to show that it's distorting his face. So if you look at a glass and you see something behind it, usually it doesn't line up. It's just a little bit of a art thingy, a detail. Okay, and then I'm going to fill in his pupils. So I draw an oval, but then I taper it off at the top because again, it's more like a barrel. It's not a complete oval or an oval shape. And you can draw yours in. Yeah, it makes a difference with Aiden when you draw his eyes differently. So you want to do your very best to draw his eyes how it's supposed to be. In fact, I can make it a little bit thicker. That's why you start off small. You can always go thicker, but you can never go smaller. Okay? And then you can draw this line. It's a straight line. So if you want to use something to, like a ruler, you can do that. But make sure it lines up with the two eyes. So if it's these two eyes, in fact, you can turn your paper if you need to. Then you can match it with that. It's hard to draw a straight line. And you want it kind of thick. It's a little thicker. That bridge is going to be a little thicker than his actual glasses. Okay, so you got the glasses down. You can fill in his nose if you want. You can do that one now. You can even do his mouth. And his mouth, if I were to exaggerate it, his mouth it's thicker here, and then see how it tapers like that? So it's thicker on this side than it is. So it's like that. In fact, I made it too sad looking, so I'll just fill it in like that. But you want it to be thick on one side and thin on the other side. Okay? And I'm going to drop down to his hand and the pencil, and you'll see why. You can do the hair wherever you want, but I'm going to do the hand and the pencil. So I'm going to do the pencil first. And because we have this line here, I'm going to draw two lines. So if this is one, this is the other. You're going to draw a sharp pencil, put the lead. You know how that pencil has the thingy. So that's going to be his pencil. And I needed to draw that so that when I draw this line, or this curve to his face, I know where to stop. That's just for me personally. You can do with whatever you want. And then I'm going to draw the bottom part of his face. And continue it here. So that it's like that. And then I'm going to draw his ear. And his ear comes down, up, and over. And then you can fill in that part, the inner part of his ear. Okay. And then, because you already did that and you had the eyeglasses, make sure that this bridge lines up with this bridge. So that's why we have that imaginary line. So you're going to draw this line here and this line there. And then you can color that in. There you go. And if you need to, it's up to you because it's your look. You can draw this side of the arm of his eyeglasses because it does go on the other side. You may want to or may not want to. It's up to you. And the only reason why you have an option is because if there's glare in his glasses, you're not going to be able to see that either. That's why this part is distorted. Anyway, up to you. It's not necessary. Finish off his hair. Remember now his hairline. Come down and right underneath. So that's his sideburn. And then you're going to draw the line that comes up. Swoop it down. Swoop it up. Up again. One more time. And then this is the tricky part because you're going to come all the way around. So I would turn my paper like this so that I can slide my hand and that you can see also. So I already felt I went a little bit crooked. That's okay. I'll leave it. Gives a little accentuation to his head. Okay, and finish off the other side of his hair. So that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to drop down to his shirt. Do the neck part. And at this point, you can choose where you want for his shoulder area. I'm going to curve it a little bit, just a little bit, just so that it shows some character to it. You don't want it to look too flat. And then I'm going to curve this part and then bring this up for his sleeve. But I might as well bring it up all the way because it's going to be his backpack strap. And then I'm going to draw this elbow. Again, curve it a little bit. Scoop it. 1, 2 bumps. Same thing with this, his arm. And again, this one overlaps. So, and then come up. It's going to be like that. Bring this shoulder too. Curve it a little bit. And I'm going a little fast, but when it comes to the inking part, because you have the basic structure, we finish off his shirt here. Because you have the basic structure, you can follow your lines. Just remember why you drew the lines and what you were trying to accomplish. So don't draw his backpack yet, and I'll show you why. Okay, we can come to this other arm if you're ready. His elbow, come up, out, up, up. Then you're going to curve for his fingers. 1, 2, 3. And remember this one, the pinky sticks out a little bit and comes in. And then it's going to taper in like that because of the palm of his hand. And then this one overlaps also. So this is going to come a little bit further this way. And it's not going to line up because you're going to want to draw his forearm like that. You see how this overlaps? It just shows where the forearm is, that it's more towards you than it is backwards. And then if you need to fill in lines like this, then you can fill that in. Oh, went a little too thick. That's okay. I need to fix this. Okay. And then you're going to do his shirt, do the bottom of his shirt. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit from that area. Bring in his shirt. And then you can draw it straight across or curve it a little bit if you need to. I thicken the line a little bit. And then once you draw the bottom of his shirt, you can finish the backpack. Now, the reason why I made the backpack square is to give you an idea of what his backpack shape will be. It's not going to be square. It's actually going to be smooth lines or curved edges. And the reason why you wanted it square is because you have books in there. The main book he carries is the Bible. He always carries his Bible. So you need to have a reference what is in it, which is square, so that you can do the outline, which is curved, because your backpack is curved. So that's why it's going to look like that. And you can even bring it a little lower. You don't have to follow that exactly. You can bring it like that. Some of you like your backpack like hanging on the ground. So if you want it to be lower than that, you want it to be like here, it's up to you where you want to put it. I'll put mine there like that. Once you're finished with your backpack, you can finish off the bottom. Oops, excuse me. I want it to come in a little bit with his pants. Come in a little bit. He has really thin legs because he's very agile and can move swiftly. He's very agile and flexible. He can kick easily. He can kick very high. He's very good
with gymnastics. So he's very flexible. So he has those kinds of legs. Finish off his shoes. Shoelaces, shoelace. Bottom of his shoe. Same thing on the other side. Oh, I missed this. My hand is sliding. And then same thing. Finish that off. Shoelace. Bottom of the shoe. Okay. That's pretty much the basic structure of AIDAN. That's what he looks like. If you want to thicken the frame of his glasses, and you're brave enough to do that, oh boy. And you can do that if you want to. Whew. Yes. Okay. So you want it the same angle. Once we're done with that, you can color it in if you want to. I'm going to color it in. And with AIDAN, he has his own color. So this is his color scheme. So with his face, he's going to have a flesh tone. So this is his face tone. I don't color in his glasses just yet because although you can see through glasses, I'm going to shade it in a gray. So I'm going to use a very light gray. And then I'm going to put some white highlights. It just shows that it's glass. But going back to his flesh, fill in his arms, his other arm. And don't forget his neck. That tiny little spot. And then you can color in his hair. He has brown hair. It's kind of dark brown. So you can fill in his hair. Because I have an iPad and it's digital, it's going to fill it in pretty quickly. But you can color it in however you need to. And then his shirt is yellow. You can put whatever color you want for his t-shirt. I'm just using yellow because that's standard for AIDAN. That's the color of his shirt. His backpack is going to be blue, a light blue. His pants is going to be a basic gray. So he's very simple. And his shoes is going to be a dark navy blue. Again, you can choose whatever color you want. I'm going to shade in the bottom part with this gray. Kind of the same gray as actually, it's a different gray. I thought it was the same gray as his eyeglass under his eyeglasses, but it's a little darker. And then his pencil is going to be a yellow orange. It's not completely yellow, but it's not full orange. And then, of course, the base part where there's the wood, then I make that a little lighter. Make sure you have his lead. The lead for, the tip for the pencil. Without a tip, how are you going to draw or write? Where are we at? Okay. Now, I'm going to do some highlighting and shading, and you can do this part if you want to. If not, you are done. But if you want to continue to shade, then you can do that also. I'm going to take away my sketch so that I can see better. And I'm going to shade. And when you shade, don't do it like how I'm going to do it right now. I'm doing it because it's a digital iPad. But when you shade, use a shade just a bit darker. So if it's tan like this, then you're going to use a shade that is a little bit darker or a very, very light gray or a light brown if you want to. So I'm going to do a technique, and if you've been following me, you know that it's a different technique. So I color it in black, and then I change the opacity of it, which means I make it lighter. So I'm just going to do it like this. And a little bit of his hairline. Not too much because it's his hairline, so it's not really shading on this part. I shouldn't even shade this as I continue to shade. So, and then when you're shading, remember, anytime you're shading, remember where the light source is coming from. My light source is coming from this direction, so shadows will be on this side of everything, and the light will always hit that side. So know where your light source is coming from. And then, of course, for the bottom of the bridge of his glasses, it's going to be right underneath. Sorry, I shouldn't be erasing because you can't erase. So if you can't erase, I can't erase. Otherwise, what's the point of learning together? Okay. It's a habit of mine to erase, like on my digital iPad. Okay. And then you can draw in or shade in for this part. And the reason why I'm going with black, please don't go with black, use a different color, is because all I need to do is change my opacity, lighten it, and then you're going to see it change. And that's how I can shade. And then now I can go in with that. Shade his right under his nose because of the light source. I may put a shadow for the pencil. Now the shadow for the pencil, the reason why it's not right under the pencil like this is because of the shape of his face. His face curves. So the shadow is going to fall underneath. You see how it... So study shadows. It'll help you when you draw so that you know where shadows fall. And just like because his head is circular, because the light source is coming this way, you're going to shade in this bottom part because the bottom part of his head is in the shadow, or this bottom part is where the shadows will fall. His neck will cast a shadow too, so you can shade that in. In the earlobe area is going to be a shadow. I even do it like this because that's the imagination of where his ear is. I need to add one more thing. This makes him more of who he is. So I forgot to draw in his eyebrow. So his eyebrow is right on the top part like this. So it's a small little curved line, and then you can do it for the other side. That's actually crooked. So that's why we sketch first. I should have sketched in his eyebrows and I didn't. So this line is going to be small and just like that side. So you can put in his eyebrows. And it pretty much follows the shape of this on this one. Follows the shape of his eyeglasses. I apologize for that one. I missed the eyebrows. Okay. And so going back to shading, finish off the shading down here. His head cast a shadow. So down here under his, I keep erasing, I'm sorry. So under here by his backpack straps, over here by his arms because of his head. Under here, it's going to cast a shadow because of his sleeves. His backpack underneath because the backpack casts its own shadow. And then this arm is going to cast a shadow on his shirt. And you curve it because the body curves. So it's going around his body. This sleeve is going to cast a shadow here because his hand is under. Shadow under here because it's the bottom part of his arm. Shadow from this sleeve. Bottom of his arm. This side of his hand. Shadow on this pinky because that's the bottom, and in between the fingers because if you look between your fingers, you're going to see some dark lines and some shading. That's because the light source is casting a shadow. This side of his shirt because the light is coming this way. Even here you may have some shading. And right here. Left side of his pants, inner seam. Under his shirt there's a shadow because his shirt is not tucked in. This side of his pants because that's the inner part. And shading. And if you want to do, and if you're able to do highlights, then same thing. I would highlight the side. Oh, excuse me, wrong area. I'm going to highlight on the side where the light is shining. Why is it doing that? Okay, I'm on the wrong layer. There. So you can just highlight certain areas like that. Highlight his pencil, finger, shoulder, backpack, arm over here, pant leg, shoes. What else? Just go highlight crazy. And then for his eyeglasses, I would just do simple. Ooh, I think it's behind. Oh, simple lines like that. If you're able to do white lines, and then I just change the opacity. So if you're able to use white, and don't make it too dark, just enough so that you can see it, so that it's highlighted white. You can even, with the shading, I believe this is the shading. With the shading, right under his mouth, put a little, put a little, kind of like a mark to show the bottom of his mouth area. Just a little bit, if you could see it on camera. Just right under his mouth area, just so that it gives him a little bit of a crease in his mouth area, because he's thinking. You know how so I'll switch to my camera. Sorry, I'm going to have to show you my face. But you know when you're looking and you're thinking of something, so the bottom of this part, you're thinking, you're like, You see all of these lines? Yeah, that's the part you want to accentuate on Aiden, because he's thinking. And that's pretty much it. That's Aiden. I actually drew him a little thicker than normal. Maybe because he's grown up now. He's bigger now, and he's developing muscles. So he's a lot bigger. And I'm sorry about the glare. I think there's a glare right here from the camera thing. I'll try to get rid of that later. See if I can move this. No, it's not going to do anything. Okay, I'll try to get rid of that glare. But hopefully this was fun for you, and hopefully you're able to follow. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, NH Marvelous Kids. Even on Sundays and Wednesdays, what is interesting is when we're watching online and reviewing the church service, at the same time, if we have an iPad or something separate, our children can watch their church service, and they can follow with Auntie Lynn or Auntie Debbie. I know this past week we had Auntie Divine. Uncle Steve is on there, Auntie Kim. So we have different people through our Life Stage Ministries, as well as our teachers that are teaching via video. So while we're viewing church online and viewing the service, our children can be watching at the same time, and they can be participating at the same time. And that way they get to receive the gospel at their level versus what we're watching. And either way, it would work, but we wanted... I'm going to switch to live real quick. I know you might be looking at Aiden for a little bit, but I'll switch back to Aiden. But just wanted to thank you for joining. And again, this is Aiden the Apostle, and you can follow us at NH Marvelous Kids. And what that will do too is it'll keep you updated to what's happening. And because of all that we're doing, we wanted to produce more and equip you with more things for you and your family. And check out our website every now and then on our New Hope website, newhopehilo.org, and where there is a place for children, you're going to see the different curriculum. And we try to put fun things like this, or mazes. We're going to put crossword puzzles, hidden characters, and things like that. So stay posted to that website so that you can follow along, and the kids can learn some cool things. You can also print out on your own at home the coloring pages that we have. So we're trying to post more so that you can have different activities. And it's always fun. I try to do things like the maze that is challenging. There's a timer on it. Or like the Easter egg hunt. How many eggs, or get as many eggs as possible back to the empty tomb. Things like that. We wanted to make it fun for you and your children, so that in this season we're growing together in Christ. And I think that's a good thing. So thank you again for joining. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for that guy on the motorcycle going by. I'm actually outside of my house, so but
hopefully you're able to stay in tuned. And if you're watching this later than live, you can always pause and then, keep up with if I'm going too fast. And then, of course, every Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to be doing this. This is the Marvelous Academy. Thank you for joining us, and always stay marvelous.